Hello, hello, it's Sonny Melendrez, and welcome to the positive side of the radio spectrum. This is the all-new Sonny Melendrez Show, and every week we strive to bring you entertainment and inspiration through storytelling, fascinating guests, exclusive celebrity interviews, and it's all delivered with lots of enthusiasm. Now, I know I say this every week, but I mean it. And today is no exception. I cannot wait to introduce you to my special guest. So, on with the show.
Sonny Radio, sonnyradio.com.
Well, recently, I was MC for a grand event in San Antonio. And when I introduced the entertainment for the evening, I had no idea what I was about to witness. Garcia is known as Gary the Showman, and is he ever? He wowed the crowd with his singing and dancing tribute to Elvis, Frank Sinatra, Frankie Valli, and many more. It is great to welcome Gary the Showman. You're here.
Hi, Sonny. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Nice to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so
met,
much.
Of course, so we saw each other last Saturday, just recently. And
Yes, sir.
I saw your performance, and I immediately thought, I've got to get this guy on the show to find out his story. And come to find out, it is most inspiring.
Thank you.
So let's start out when you were a kid. When did you actually know that this is what you wanted to do?
Well, as a kid, I looked up to like Michael Jackson. Wasn't big Elvis yet, but I did heard of a lot of Elvis through my grandfather, through his old records. And so Michael Jackson, I was following a lot as a child, and I would watch the Thriller videos, Beat It videos, and I would just pick up choreography. And I would mimic like a mirror through the television and do the choreography. And then I started singing, just at home or in the bathtub and what have you. But when I grew up watching movies like Ferris Bueller, and he was on the float and he's performing Shakin' a Baby, and with the huge crowd around the float, that's what I wanted to do. And ironically, I am, out of 5 siblings, I'm the most shyest child, and I'm the oldest.
That's something. Isn't that? I have to tell you, Gary, this is almost like a running theme with many artists. Myself included,
Yes,
as far as performing and being very shy to begin with, but at the same time, always having that dream when you're watching television and having that moment.
Right.
All right. So as time went on, in high school, did you perform?
In high school, going through high school, being here in San Antonio, quinceañeras are huge. And I got involved in many quinceañeras, and we were in this particular quinceañera where they hired this professional choreographer named Aaron Callis.
For the benefit of people that may not know what a quinceañera is, it's when a girl becomes 15, and it's kind of like a coming out celebration.
Exactly. And it's just as big as a wedding celebration.
It is. Yes, it is.
So this choreographer, Aaron Callis, he's a professional choreographer, and he was also one of the entertainers for SeaWorld. He was in this project for an up-and-coming recording artist named Amber Rose, Latin pop artist. Mm-hmm. And he was in search for some backup dancers to go on tour. So he noticed that myself, my brother, and myself we picked up our choreography very well and thought, hey, these guys are young, they're looking for the part. So let's go ahead and let me get these guys to audition. And, we've never, ever performed in front of any audience in our lives.
Wow.
I mean, we're only 15 and 16 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we auditioned, we got the part. And 3 days later, we're at College Station opening up for Paul Rodriguez,
the comedian
Paul Rodriguez.
Yeah,
Yes,
great
sir.
guy. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, let me just give you a little sidebar. In the late 70s, there was a competition. I don't know if they still have it, but there was a competition. Funniest person in Los Angeles. It was for comedians. Paul and I competed in that. Paul got second place.
Wow.
I got third place. But yeah, Paul is just is a great guy. So you were opening up for Paul.
Awesome. Right. Opening up for Paul. Then we did his macaroni and cheese tour in '98. And, we ended up performing a lot in Los Angeles. And while we're there, we're also touring and promoting for Amber Rose. So we did Univision Television, Telemundo Television. We performed in Maria Conchita Alonso's show.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also guest by Paul Rodriguez. So that was, a big deal for us. And, we performed various places, Knott's Berry Farm. And then a gentleman, he's a producer. He produced Star Search, many other television shows. I think he did some acting back in the 60s. His name is Sam Riddle.
Sam sees you. He loves what he sees. He's putting together a boy band.
So the boy bands were big, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees. And he said, hey, you know what? This is, I'm going to do this project. So like I mentioned, he ran Star Search, and he was going to start this new project called Destination Stardom. And he's producing that show, and he's also the voice, the host of the show. So he put us all together. It was my brother and I were from San Antonio, and he put together another guy from Washington Township, New Jersey, and another guy from Puerto Rico. Flew us all to Miami. We all met. We recorded a couple of songs. We did some choreography. A month after that, flew us all to Hawaii, and we performed for Destination Stardom.
Wow.
And it was just a project that he wanted to do. It didn't quite work out as a plan, but it was just an experience that I've gotten from being a backup dancer to now being a vocalist, because that's what I wanted to do, is be a vocalist. Sure. And, being part of the whole big band thing, it was really huge. And that was like my dream. So getting that experience was just amazing, and being on worldwide television.
Now, how old are you? How old are you now at this point?
38.
No, I'm talking about back then when you went to.
I was 18, 18 years old.
Now, if you go to sunnyradio.com/show, you're going to see a picture. I'm talking to our audience here. If you go to sunnyradio.com/show, you're going to see a picture of Gary and myself that was taken. Gary, you look like you're 18.
And I have a daughter nearly that age now.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. Just amazing.
Yes.
Well,
I appreciate that. Thank you. And
yeah.
now, and people ask me, why you look so young? How do you keep, what do you do? And I just think, doing what I do, doing what I love, performing, keeping, this is exercise to me, and if you see my show, it's 100% full blown,
oh my
energetic
gosh,
and nonstop.
And you're drenched when you're through.
For sure.
Yeah. So,
sure.
I mean, you give it all you got. That's wonderful. So
I don't know how to stop.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I believe me. I'm with you. So you're in Hawaii, and then what?
Yes. So we performed for this talent competition, and there's other people that are famous now that was performing in that competition. JoJo. She was a pop artist. Now she's already older, but she was around, I'm assuming, 8 years old around that time. But now she's a big artist, JoJo.
Mm-hmm.
So that didn't really pan out. So then we lost touch with Mr. Sam Riddle, and I don't know where he went from there on. But then I continued with my entertainment career. I started performing with various bands and getting more experience through that, and then.
Now, were you singing or dancing or both?
Well, it started off as, getting my foot into it. I was backup singing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very, good, or I love doing backup harmonizing. I mean, that's one of my next projects, is to get a 4-part, like kind of a barbershop quartet going. That's what I love, like the old school Boys II Men and those kind of old school R&B,
sure,
or even the doo-wops. I love the doo-wops era.
Oh my gosh, yes, exactly.
I think I was born in the wrong era. But that's so I started getting my experience in with jazz band, and I got to love the jazz sound, and I mean as far as big band as like Rat Pack or Sinatra, you know, Dean Martin type of music.
Sure.
And then then I started with one of our bands. This was a wedding anniversary of one of the bands I was performing with, and they wanted impersonators. So they wanted Michael Jackson, they wanted an Elvis Presley, they wanted a Marilyn Monroe, and our band was in a budget. So our band hired a Michael Jackson, and I think you've seen that Michael Jackson already.
Yes.
And impersonator Raul Riojas. And
oh
then,
yes.
Right. So he was, we brought him in to do our Michael Jackson. And then, of course, they hired someone out to do a Marilyn Monroe. But they said, hey, we need an Elvis guy. So the band leader, Rocky Hill, looked at me and said, hey, you know what, Gary? You kind of have like that Elvis sound tone to you. Yeah. And kind of have the look. Yeah. Why don't we just, you're already getting paid for this gig, so why don't you just be our Elvis? I'm like, oh, my goodness. And at the time, I knew of Elvis. I loved Elvis music, but lyrically, I didn't really know a lot of Elvis songs. So then I had to put a pep to my step and then start learning some Elvis songs. And I went. I mean, the wedding anniversary was coming up about a week and a half away. So I quickly ordered a Halloween costume, not a very tacky one, but the gold lame Elvis, the young 1950s Elvis gold lame suit outfit. Yeah. And I learned a few songs, grabbed the guitar, and I did my Elvis skit. I started doing Elvis on stage, and it turned out to be a hit. They loved it. And then I was thinking, my wheels are spinning. Maybe I should do this on the side. Yeah. So then people started asking, and then I started promoting that, and the rest is history. I've been doing a lot of Elvis. I don't want to say impersonating because I don't walk around talking. No, like you Elvis, really don't. Elvis.
You're actually paying a tribute to Elvis.
Exactly what I call myself is a Elvis tribute artist, and they abbreviate to ETA. So I've been doing that for the last, about close to 8 years now. And that's really has taken off.
I would say that I don't want to put you on the spot, but actually I do want to put you on the spot. Let me hear a little Elvis a cappella.
Okay, great. Well, this is one of my favorite Elvis songs. It's a ballad, and it came from a movie, Blue Hawaiian, and it's called Can't Help Falling in Love with You.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Can't Help Falling in Love with You. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Will it be a sin if I can't help falling in love with you?
Wow. Nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And the other night when I saw you also did you did Sinatra.
I did.
Do you do any speaking impressions?
Well, with Elvis, and when I'm in the wearing the costume, and if it's an Elvis thing going on, I do a little bit of that twang, that Tennessee twang,
Sure.
But it's just, I just hate to be like trying to act like someone I'm really not. So
I understand.
I pay tribute to that. But, yes. I do love to channel, some of the artists, the artists, like, I don't know, Elvis, Sinatra, and James Brown, and when I get into the acting, mode and I'm performing, I start doing my voice impressions.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I feel good. I just get the people going and laughing
and you really do interact with the crowd. The ladies especially, they love you.
Yes.
You get up on a chair in the middle of the dance floor, in the middle of the crowd. I mean, it's just incredible.
Yes.
Sonny Radio, SonnyRadio.com.
Now, tell me about your career with Carnival Cruises.
Okay, well, believe it or not, I throw some videos on YouTube, what have you, maybe for promotion or just to keep memory of. But yes. There's this this cruise jockey. They're called cruise jockey, and they're also an Elvis tribute artist, and they're looking for other Elvis impersonators or Elvis tribute artists. So they looked on YouTube, somebody that was kind of local. So these people are out of Houston, and they found me, and they just gave me a call to nowhere. Say, hey, we do this contract with Carnival Cruise Lines, and we do an Elvis cruise, and we want you to be a part of it. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And where did you hear from me or find me? Well, we found you through YouTube, and we saw some of your videos, and you're a perfect fit. So I'm coming in as doing the young Elvis, because of the moves and the way I'm very limber with that. And then there's also the 1968 Elvis with the black leather jumpsuit. Yeah. And then there's the 1970s Elvis, Las Vegas Elvis, the white jumpsuit. So we do all three eras. We cover all three of the eras of Elvis Presley. And they took a liking because I was just, they're trying me out for the first time. And people really took a liking into my act. And then they've just been hiring me ever since. So it's going to be my 5th year coming in February.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And what a great a great venue as well. Again, another connection. When I was in Los Angeles, I was also doing comedy besides radio, and once a year I would do a 2-week cruise on my vacation. I would actually do a 2-week cruise on the Love Boat from Los Angeles to Acapulco, and then from Acapulco back to LA, and there were acts like what you're talking about, and usually the singing star of the show was the one who had the that Las Vegas act. Now you call yourself Gary the Showman.
Yes, sir.
When did you start that?
I start that I want to say about 2 years ago, and the purpose of that is because, well, for one, I'm in business as far as what I do. And I have, it's called Encore Entertainment Productions. So I like to, label myself and, make it a product. But as far as the nickname goes, as I performed in many different venues, and mostly I take people that are, older age, take a liking of what I do, maybe because of the songs I do or the genres I do. But they always come up to me at the end of the show and they say, man, Gary, you are quite the showman. And, I see Vegas performances, for 30 years, and you could do way better than what they do, or you belong out there because you are a showman. And it's not coming from one person or what, it came from different venues, different people. And that just stuck. I'm like, you know what? I just call myself, I guess, the showman, Gary the Showman. Yeah.
Well, it's a great moniker because it not only, it's something that's memorable, but it also tells them what you do.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Now, you're talking about Las Vegas. Have you ever appeared in Las Vegas?
I've traveled to Las Vegas. I've done a few things out there, and I've even performed for people that wanted to get married. So I've done some wedding chapels and sang out there doing Elvis. It's just tough because
Sure.
I'm local here in San Antonio, and I've talked to a lot of producers. I wanted to do some theater act out there, throw in Elvis. It doesn't have to be Elvis. I could throw Sinatra or even anything that's a variety, but I would have to physically be resident in Las Vegas.
Sure, you got to move out there. Yeah.
Yes. And I have a family back at home. I have children. They're a little young, and I just don't want to make that big leap yet until they get a little older, and maybe I could move on to bigger endeavors.
How many kids do you have?
I have 3 children of my own, and then with my fiance, we have additional 3.
So you got a full house there.
We got a full house.
Now, what do they think about your performing?
Oh my gosh! So my little girl, she's 12 now, and when I go visit her for school, and I have my hair's greasy and have it slicked back like that pompadour look. Sometimes people think, hey, your dad looks famous, or what is he? She goes around saying my dad is Elvis Presley, and they're like rolling in their eyes, So,
That's
and
great.
they're very proud of their papa, and they love what I do. And when I come out in a magazine clipping or a newspaper or whatever, sometimes they'll wear my merch. I'll have an Elvis T-shirt with my picture on it, and they're taking it to school and just showing off to the students. So they're very proud of what I do. When they have the chance to come to any of my shows, they love to get involved. I'll put them on stage and I'll get them to dance some choreography with me,
Oh.
Yeah. So they're going to grow up with it. And my little boy, he's 3. And since birth, I've hold him up while I'm performing. And then now he comes on stage and he wants to steal my show. And I let him have it. But I mean, I hopefully, I'll raise another little Bruno Mars or something.
Yeah, really. It really unbelievable. Well, you'll have to you'll have to do a YouTube video with your kids.
I will.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's the kind of thing that can go viral. Now, I'm going to put your website up on our page, so we'll have a link to you, your Facebook page. You're on Twitter, Instagram, I imagine.
Instagram, Facebook. It's GaryTheShowman.com and Facebook.com/Gary the Showman.
Good deal. We'll have the links all on sonnyradio.com. Now, I want to ask you: is there anyone, I should say, that you would love to meet? You impersonate a lot of famous people. Many of them are no longer around. But is there anybody that you've kind of aspired to be that you'd like to meet?
Frankie Valli is still around.
Yes.
And I would have loved to meet him the couple of times he came out here in San Antonio. But I do songs from Frankie Valli, and that'll probably be one of the guys I would love to meet. If anybody current, I would love to meet like Bruno Mars and what have you. But man, anybody that's a legend that's still around, I would love to meet. And I miss Chubby Checker when he came during Fiesta here in San Antonio.
Yeah, he was the Grand Marshal. Actually for the night parade. Yeah.
Yes, and I actually had the opportunity to perform on that night parade, and I just didn't get to have the chance to meet him. But that would have been very epic if I was doing Elvis at the time and in the 50s era, and if I would have met him, that would have been totally awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, if I ever have a connection and any of these guys come back to town or whatever, I'll certainly contact you, and maybe we can hook you up.
That'll be amazing. Thank you, Sonny.
So what advice would you give? I mean, you're 38 years old, and again, yes, when you see the picture of Gary, you're not going to believe that he's 30. What advice would you give to a young Gary Garcia who's 14, 15 years old and dreaming of a life in the entertainment industry?
Well, as we speak, at one of my performances that I do weekly here in San Antonio, there's this 18-year-old kid. He's inspired what I do, and he wants to do what I do. So after the show, he came up on stage and talked with me for a little bit, looking at my equipment, and he's like, "I want to do this." And for me, I had to break through many shells to get out of it and to do what I do. That's really inside of me. So what I want to tell the young kids is, like, if you're shy, just learn how to get over it and just get out there and do it. And of course, if you feel you have that God-given talent, you have to show it off. You have to do it. You have to make people happy. And that's one of the majors why I'm still doing it. And it's because my biggest reward is to see the smiles on their faces, to make them cry in a good way, of course. Sometimes I sing a song that brings back old memories, or, a loved one passed away and that was their song when they got married. But I tell these kids, learn songs that were really music back in the day and had meaning, and that were very innocent as well. None of the really songs that's today that's kind of, inappropriate or trashy, but people today will really appreciate those kind of music, and that's what keeps me going today. But just get out there and give it 100%. That's what I say. Give it 100% and show them what you truly can do.
Great advice. Spoken like a very wise man. You're right. You were born you were born too late. You're born in another era. Well, God bless you, Gary Garcia. I'm so glad we connected. Thank you. Glad you could be on the show.
Thank you, Sonny.
And yes. I look forward to being on stage with you again and having more fun in the future.
Thank you, Sonny. And it's been an honor. Thank you for this interview, sir.
My pleasure. Well, that's my visit with Gary the Showman. And by the way, you'll find links to his website, Instagram, Facebook page, all on sunnyradio.com/show. That's sunnyradio.com/show. And while you're there, why not subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode? Till next week, I'm Sonny Melendrez. And as Gary said, no matter how young or how old you are, don't stop dreaming. Bye-bye.